So this morning I find myself on a very cold beach in the mother city. Why? Because I wanted to show a premium view of a premium SUV, which for some strange reason, us as consumers kind of ignore when it comes to the premium SUV market. Why, I don't know, because we always think about the Germans, the English, but we kind of forget about the yodel, the Swiss. And that was the worst ever impression. Listen, it's an excuse, it's kind of cold, so let's just show you the car.
Today, we look at the new Volvo XC60 B5. And if you're a car enthusiast like me, you would have already noticed some differences from the previous model.
Firstly, it's in the name. The monikers D and T has been removed and has now just been changed to a B, which means that there's both petrol and diesel engines available, but it's also combined to a mild hybrid system, which I'll tell you about in a couple of minutes. So if you look at the car, it kind of looks the same, doesn't it? Well, because this is, well, a facelift, but it's a facelift, in my opinion, that kind of works. There are three models in the range. This is the entry-level Momentum. You've got the Inscription and then the R-Line. Now, each one has got their own unique styling around it. This one's got a bit of a different looking grille. It's kind of blacked out and it looks a little unassuming compared to the other two. But what's shared across the range is these uniquely styled Thor LED lights. It looks like Thor's hammer. I mean, it looks brilliant and it's unique to Volvo's and it sets it apart from any other car on the market. The side styling still is, well, typical XC60. And it's one that I prefer because the XC40 and the XC90 sticks to that, well, usual SUV formula, which is it looks like a blocky shape, which most SUVs kind of go with. This has got that hatchback kind of feel, which personally I prefer. If you step around the back, you'll notice that there's some changes to the back bumper. There's no more exhaust showing, and I also don't like the fact that other manufacturers do, which this car doesn't do, is to put the fake exhaust on it. There isn't any. So it's cleaner, it's smoother, it's prettier, and it works for me.
The interior styling is classic Volvo. Everything looks and feels premium and it's directed at the driver, making it a comfortable place to sit. The Momentum comes with cloth seats as standard, but it's that kind that doesn't make you think that you even need leather. The driver's seat is electric with memory function and the passenger has some electric features to it. In the back, there's space for three, but like most cars, it's best suited towards two passengers, but three won't be uncomfortable in here. There's things like cup holders in the rear, individual aircon vents and USB ports to keep those little people who control our lives happy.
Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you would know that I kind of geek out when it comes to taking cars, and this car really doesn't help with that, well, geekiness. You see, Volvo's previous infotainment system was good, but it wasn't like 100% like kind of perfect. It had its niggly weirdness with it. But they've since then upgraded it and now make use of a system called iCup, spelled I-C-U-P. I-C-U-P. I'm sorry, I'm childish, I know. Anyways, moving back to the system. It runs on an Android platform, which then makes use of Google's automotive systems. Now, if you're familiar with things like Android Auto and Google's Play Store, it gives you access to all of those things. And it just directly integrates and even gives you access to Google Maps. So if you want to find directions somewhere, like for example, hey Google, find me the closest petrol station.
There's Caltex Parkland's proper service station 5.4 kilometers away. Want to navigate there?
No, thank you. Now, as you can hear, it works really well, and I like that. The only problem that I have, though, is that Apple CarPlay isn't available on this system, obviously because it's an Android system, but according to Volvo engineers, they will have it set up in a couple of months from now. You do need an active internet connection, though. So you will require a data SIM to be installed, or you can simply hotspot or Bluetooth to your devices. And even with my Apple phone, it was very easy to integrate. Simply just hit Bluetooth, find my device, hit share internet connection, or you decide on what you want to share via it, and your internet connectivity just works seamlessly. And I like that. What I like the most, though, is this digital display in front. It is one of the crispest and the clearest ones that I've seen in a heck of a long time. There's not a lot of manufacturers that get it right like they've done in this system. And what's even better is that it displays your map. So if you've got your maps open, you can decide to display your map, and it's so crisp and clear, and it gives you all the directions and information that you really need. Making sure that your eyes are always in front and looking down. You don't have to look to the side every time to kind of get it. And that is really, really good. Now, I know some other manufacturers also offer this system. However, this is standard across the range. So you don't have to pay extra like in some of the other premium models have to pay for this. This comes with it. Good one on you, Volvo.
As standard, the car has PDC front and rear, a rear view camera, climate control, aircon with heated seats, lane keeping assist, cruise control, roadside recognition, and Volvo's IntelliSafe Assist, which checks the road ahead for animals, pedestrians, cyclists, and even has rear collision warning and enough airbags to ensure everyone is safe. It has keyless entry with an automatic tailgate, making access to the boot a lot easier.
So as you can see, there's been some changes to this car, both cosmetically and also to its infotainment system. And even though they are minor, I think the most significant change in this car is, well, its engine. Because now the XC60 makes use of a mild hybrid system. Let me explain. Across the range, the car makes use of a 4-cylinder 2-liter turbocharged engine, which is mated to an 8-speed gearbox. In this car, it sends all the power to the front wheels, and it produces 183 kilowatts with 350 Newton meters of torque. That all is then directly connected to that mild hybrid system, which uses the same technology as what, well, is used in Formula One. It's called a KERS system. Basically what it does is whenever you put your foot on the brake, it kind of then recharges a 48-volt battery. That battery in turn charges a starter generator motor. That motor in turn gives you power at, well, lower specific revs. So meaning that there's no turbo lag. Power is always available and will even save you fuel, because at lower revs, as you know, when every time you pull away, it uses, more fuel. In this case, it doesn't, because that starter generator allows you to kind of just take off smoothly. And then it's got a 0 to 100 kilometer an hour claim of 7 seconds. I'm not going to lie to you, I've not tried that, but when you do put your foot down, trust me, there is power. The power is there, and it even makes a couple of little pops. I mean, unfortunately, you can't hear it, but I mean, I don't know if it's artificial, it just sounds cool. Overall, the car does really, really great. Fuel efficiency, and with me driving like a chop now, is a little bit like kind of messed up. It's now sitting at about 9, but I'm averaging about 8 liters per 100 kilometers. Volvo claims about 6.9 liters, but I don't know, maybe if you drive conservatively, you could possibly kind of get down to that. There's no sports mode, but you are able to adjust the firmness of the steering. Even in its lightest mode, it works really, really well. And then its throttle response is really good. So overall, I think that upgrade has been probably the best part onto this car, and it really, really works. Okay, so what are my final thoughts on the Volvo XC60 B5? You see, when I drove the XC40 about a year ago, I was very impressed with that car overall. It felt premium, it drove really well, and everything it did, well, great. So this one would obviously be the same, right? But here's the thing though, this one is my favorite over the XC40. I have a family of like 4 with 2 teenagers, right? And as you know, they don't want to get into each other's space. So this one's a little bit bigger, so it gives us enough space, but it's not as big as what the XC90 is, which gives you a lot more space. So this one's a lot more easier to live by. It just kind of fits into that right spot. And then it's the overall look of it as well. I mean, it just looks good, and it's got more than enough power than what I think anybody probably will need. And then if you look at it from a value for money point of view, now this B5 is the entry level. It comes in at 750,000 Rand, which is not like, cheap, but at 750,000 Rand, and compare it to any one of its competitors where their entry level cars is about 200,000 Rand more. And then all the tech that comes into this car as standard, you need to tick all kinds of little boxes to just get it. And that even applies to some of the cheaper other SUVs that's out there. And then there's obviously the things like, for example, it's 5-year, 100,000 kilometer warranty and maintenance plan. Where some of the cheaper SUVs and more premium ones they come out with, well, an average of anything from 3 years, 90,000 kilometer, well, service plan. This is, well, you basically sort it for 5 years. From a value for money, this is a really, really good proposition. And it definitely makes this car, well, worth every single cent. And then there's obviously the bragging rights, and you can say that your car could basically be an Avenger. I mean, Thor, you know what I mean? It's got the hammers, it's good looking, it's powerful like he is, it's wholesome and clean because of its mild hybrid technology, and it will keep the peace between your entire family. So in a nutshell, man, if you're looking to buy an SUV and you've got about, like, say, 800,000 Rand to spend, then this car is definitely it. It's worth every single cent.